right, guys, welcome back to the Den. One more episode for the beginning of Andor Season 2. They left us hanging with 3 episodes. This is 3 of 3. And a lot goes down in this one again. And we're definitely going to have a difference of opinion on this one. You know, we just did a little bit pregame, but here we go. King, what goes on in episode 3? Give me some plot threads and like the mini synopsis, because I feel like we were galaxy jumping all over the place on this one again.
Let's just get the elephant out of the room and just get this one knocked out. Since we kind of went at it in the second episode of this, we're going to knock down the third. So we saw Daedra and we saw corporate security Cyril. Yeah, they were planning that something was going on, and as soon as I saw that, I knew what was going to happen. She's going to meet his mother for the first time. Awkward meeting always, no matter what relationship you're in, meeting your spouse's family for the first time is usually awkward unless you're golden at it. And it's going to be awkward, but we all know this lady from the first season, her always like down talking her son with that guilt type feeling, Catholic guilt, if you want to call it, type mother, Jewish guilt, if that's what floats your boat.
Mother stereotype for sure. I had that confirmed by several Jewish friends.
Okay.
IRL, just to be sure. Like, no, that's it. So, dude, it was Big Bang Theory, Howard Wolowitz, and his mom, but we got to see her.
Yep. So they bring her in and they're having dinner. Now we're going to wrap up the whole scene so we don't have to talk about it again. Again. So once again, she's back to like down talking her son, and that if it wasn't for Uncle Harold, he wouldn't have a job, and like, look how good he's doing, and like, oh, I'm not going to have you disappear on me again, and like all that type of, motherly stuff. No girl is good enough for my son. I don't care who you are. You're just not going to be good enough for my son.
She's like 4'7".
Yeah. But then like she says something while they're eating dessert. It was some type of cake, and you just see her going to town on it. Just chopping
like
at that boy.
Yeah. Like a 4-year-old. Yeah.
Everyone else is like kind of scraping it and eating it like adults. And she says something, and Cyril's like, I'm done. He throws this thing and he walks out and have his little pouty moment, which like we talked about, like he had his cut scene where he's like broken on his bed with his teddy bear and his blanket. And
dude, at least you're saying it. At least you're saying it, dude, because it was that bad. Continue. By all means.
But while he was gone, that was the key moment. And Daedra stepped in. Imperial intelligence, type A woman, like don't take nothing from nobody. And she's like, this ends now. You were like, I will make sure he calls you. I'll make sure you see him twice a month, but there will be no more belittling him. There will be no more of this. And just kind of just like laid the law down straight to her. And then he comes back in and it's like, this has been lovely. And then like, he's like, do we want more cake?
And listen, I'll give you this on it. If I never see this woman again, I'll fine. And then or Cyril needs to kill her, like Norman Bates or something. Like if it resolves shockingly, good. Because then I'll say, it was painful for me to get to that point of the journey, but at least it paid off. Daedra is a pimp, for sure. And what she does is she threatens Mama Cyril there with, I happen to know that, Uncle Harold, for all his amazingness, has several accounts you don't need ISB looking into. So she's straight.
I've read his file.
I've read his files, right? So Daedra did Daedra stuff, so I'll give her that. I still like that character because she was one of the best characters from season 1 when she's doing Daedra stuff, when she's jockeying with all her other, what do you want to call them, colleagues, because they're all like bitter rivals at ISB.
Co-workers,
associates is even a little too friendly. Co-workers is probably the best you can do. Like when they're doing that kind of politicaling, I'm down. I like that. I hope, and I'm speaking on like the hope that I hope that Cyril kills his mom stuff. I hope eventually Daedra has to kill her boss, and I like him. I like Paleon or Grandmaster Kyber.
Yeah, I just saw. I was doing my watch back of season 1 and watching his first brief where you first introduce everybody at the ISB.
He's and so effing bored.
Yeah, and the way he just like chews people out. He was like, "Don't worry about that memo. I'll assign it to someone else."
Yeah.
Then I was like, "Wait."
Great character, but again, for the same reasons. Like the next step in each of these characters' arcs is taking care of like their parent figure. permanently, and she's gonna have to ladder jump him, her boss, to like get that next ring to get to Krennic. You know what I mean? And then dude, Cyril needs to kill his mother. It needs to happen like that. The Oedipus complex needs to go. I can't stand it. It's nails on a chalkboard. That character has replaced for me mechanic character from The Mandalorian, who I thought was too goofy for that show and stuck out like a sore thumb. Like, dude, it's just, you don't need to have these idiot cartoon characters in live action. Like, it would fit right in on Clone Wars, I think. You know, TV 14, TV 7, whatever Clone Wars is. Like, those characters work in these two respective worlds, Mandalorian and Andor. There's not supposed to be funny shit, like not on that level, not the cut to and this guy's sucking his thumb on the bed. Like, you can have levity, but that was Marvel level comic undermining of like tension. Did not like it.
One of the things we didn't talk about is that they brought back in the guy from Rebel One who's building the Death Star and his interaction with Daedra.
I mentioned Krennic. I mentioned Krennic in episode 1.
Yeah,
because he set up the Bobs with the consultants.
Yeah, but his interaction with Daedra was the key part. Yeah, where he's like, "You figured this out hours ago. I could see it on your face. Speak clearly." And she's like, "You only get so far with propaganda. What you need is an insurgency who do the wrong things at the right time."
But see, I feel like they had already said that already. So that wasn't like a big reveal for her, because the Bob's whole thing was, if we can destabilize things, they do take care of themselves. So they were already thinking plant an insurgency with the right leaflets here and the right misinformation.
They were trying to make a political fight between them.
You're saying that the conversation with Krennic and Daedra was more literal boots on the ground, like, let's just go in and set some fire. Okay.
Yeah, and then we can come in, clean things up, and then the same thing they did to the corporate world. Like, the corporate security's done. Empire's coming in and taking over this permanently. So you guys just don't have a job anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you can become a stormtrooper if you want, because we're hiring the Mick Trooper Brigade,
and you don't even have to shoot.
No, you can't hit anything anyway in any of these shows. Oh no, except well, spoiler alert, we may as well talk about that, because I thought this was the one emotionally resonant thing in like 3 episodes. We'll just jump around a little bit for this one. So the big thing that everybody's talking about for episode 3, of course, is the I guess on YouTube we can't say it, so I'll just say SA, and it means non-consensual activities directed at adults, or I guess not adults, or just non-consensual activities of a physical nature, from the Imperial guy visiting Rebel Moon planet to Bix. And it pops off. It's ugly. It goes on for a good number of minutes. It's fairly graphic in the violence involved in the struggle they have. She does defend herself. It's worth pointing that out. A bit unsettling for Star Wars. A lot of people are saying that. I'm torn on it myself. I don't know where I come down. What did you think of that scene before we get into the emotionally resonant scene? I'll say at the end.
I kind of knew what was going to happen when he showed up and he went looking for
the second time.
I was rooting for the hammer. I like the hammer. The 2-3 times on the hammer.
She done ruined that dude's face. Let's be honest. But he still walked outside. He did walk outside.
So you do have while you're dying of brain damage, you do have like your body still operates normally.
Yeah.
It just
some motor control.
Yeah, but that was a vegetable by the hit too.
I did. That first one hit him square in the dome. The first one might have done it. He might just not have known it yet. Like, it might not have registered. But it was a fairly. Honestly, I don't think you need to see like porn level of activity to call.
No.
People were telling me that like it's not graphic because you didn't see anything. I'm like, he dragged this woman across the floor, threw her into a wall.
He positioned her earlier than that.
Saying like that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to rethink of the details that went into the scene. Like, it wasn't a flash in the pan scene. Like, it went on. It drew attention on the emergency radio call. They sent backup there to set up the final confrontation and resolution. And then they had a mini shootout to resolve the scene where like the lieutenant's one bodyguard draws, like he's going to go to the house. He's like, Lieutenant. And the dude comes out with his face broken.
Yeah.
And she yells out, hey, he tried to do X, Y, and Z. And I don't remember what happened after that, but then she shot him, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Will showed up, because remember the
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why this
That's
whole
right.
thing kicked off is because Will wasn't there when they needed to ride
He was
with
saying
their
goodbye to the
1
girlfriend.
day pass. Yeah,
Right.
he was seeing Water Girl that we saw in episode 1, who
Right.
walked way out there to give them some water.
Just say hi, dude. You know what I mean? Just say hi. Say your name.
So Brasso went off to check on things. He gets pegged by a stormtrooper.
Yep.
And so they all start getting raveled up. So he takes a break for it on his speeder, and this is the part that hit me. The one stormtrooper takes his time, brings it up, and
You had to know.
shoots.
You had to know.
As soon as they went slow motion with the stormtrooper shooting, he's actually going to hit his target.
Yeah.
And then they
whatever.
revealed it later, because Andor earlier was trying to come in. He's talking to the girl at the antique shop, because she went back to the antique shop. Yep. And she's like, you can't radio, it's a block. He's like, what's going on there? And like, it's broken communication anyways, long distance, no boosters. He's using
code.
Yeah, and he has like his third type radio, because he had a hot wire the thing, so his radio to get through, so he could hit the channels he needed to.
He took that from his original ship that he was captured. Like he captured the TIE fighter. They had possession of his transport ship. That's how he knew where the blaster secret compartment was in the previous episode.
Yeah,
and then he grabbed that radio rig before he goes.
Yeah,
right.
They do show that in episode 2.
It was perfectly set up. No Deus Ex. That was good stuff.
And then he heads off to that planet immediately, like cuts radio communication. And
now he's an expert TIE pilot, by the way. Just throw that out there. Now
he's been flying it for 2 days now. If you can't pick it up by now,
he leaned in that throttle. I was like, all right, dude, if it goes backwards again, I'm gonna piss my pants. But it didn't, dude. He hit them streets. He did.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. I was digging that part.
The one funny part I had, she's like, the situation is fluid. That's why I told you to keep the signal open, and it cuts out right then and there. And she's like,
see, that kind of that's not comic undermining timing. You know what I mean? That's just like, this motherfucker did it like that. It's that, and we know there's some hero stuff coming on the way. It doesn't undercut emotional tension that was being built to like define any kind of character. That's what I don't like that. So Andor shows up on Rebel Moon planet, right?
And everyone shot like a TIE fighter. Who called that in?
Right. And then of course, I think it's Bix or one of them's like, oh, it's Cassian. I'm like, how do you know that? On what planet would you know that? You haven't been in contact with them.
She knew it right here.
Oh, dude, look, zoom in. Somebody crop and zoom. Oh, get out of here. But anyway, so Andor shows up, and it's like the end of the movie Black Hawk Down. He goes on a sick-ass gun run that just ruptures everything, including one of the grain silos. It just buries these dudes under.
Buries like 2 of them under grain, and then you see their lights flicked out like they suffocated, which is, I think, a very small detail, but very well done detail.
It was pretty savage. He hit that gun run on point, which was good. But then he lands it, and we get to the big emotional reveals. He sees Brasso's speeder. He runs. Brasso's down. He's dying. He's gone.
Yeah.
Like, he's out. And
you're my boy, Brasso. You're my boy.
It also was a great cat. Dude, think of how many times that dude ran at armed security guards and didn't die because the plot armor held up. Got shot in the back by a blaster while on a speeder bike.
Yeah.
And hit by a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Damn it. It's not a droid.
The same thing we had to teach Rickon. Run in a serpine, not straight lines. Yeah, serpentine.
Bob and weave. That was a great.
I think you Sid when you're supposed to zag.
Yeah, right. Some high quality H2O. Yeah, dude, that was a great shot by Ramsey on account that it was at like 900 yards and with a bow. Yeah. Not bad. Not a bad shot. It's effing stormtrooper though. Peaceful, serene Rebel Moon world. Probably just had a good meal. Had like 10 guys with him as boys. He was fine. He was in no danger. He was just like, okay. Oh, dude, when it came up slow-mo, like you said, I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Done.
I'm like, hit the bike and have him injured. Yeah, that's what I would hit the bike, have him injured, and then they can land and pick him up and then take him off, and we still have Brasso.
Or at least if he could just die in Andor's arms, like the famous last words, like, for the rebellion, even something cheesy like for the rebellion, take care of Bix. Save their, what did Forrest Whitaker say? What was he memed on? Save the rebellion, save the dream.
Yeah.
Like, they could have had some cheesy moment like that. It could have worked. But that was literally the only emotionally resonant thing I saw in 3 episodes. They earned the moment because I like Brasso. He's a good character. I like him.
The other part that I would say was a down point for me is when he's like, we got to go now. They didn't grab anything, no supplies, no nothing. So they're still up in this ship with no food to eat.
Oh yeah. And literally, and like Imperials neutralized for the time being. So like they literally could take 10 minutes to grab what they needed and go.
Yeah.
Including Brasso's body, if you wanted to make a point of it. He was only about 30 feet from the ship.
Yeah, because he even launched a missile at the armor transport.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. That was from the trailer.
Yeah.
That was from the trailer. That rocket pod slid into place and I was like, oh snap, they got rockets now? Cool.
Yeah, because you saw it on the side there the whole time. I saw the rockets.
It slid down into place. Yeah, it was cool. That the TIE Avenger is a dope ship. I like that.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of stuff there with the Andor, and they got him back with Bix and the rest of the group. That stuff all worked. I think the only other stuff to wrap up from this episode was how the ending on Chandrilla goes down at the wedding.
Yeah.
Luthen Rail is making moves against
Mon
Mothma's wishes, but I think she comes around to understanding that it has to happen, and that's why we get the second worst thing that happened in this episode. The 15-minute Chandrillan rave scene where 47-year-old Mon Mothma has 26 drinks and just flails around the dance floor to techno.
Yeah.
Stupid, undignified, unnecessary. Didn't need it. Dude, shit like that is not Star Wars. It was not
cultural appropriate. What she's supposed to be doing at her daughter's wedding.
Be culturally appropriate. It can still be stupid in a story. It's possible. That's possible. It could be culturally appropriate that they all eat their dinners blindfolded. That would be stupid. They could have taken those hikes while having their legs tied together for like a three-legged race. Also stupid. So I'm not buying it. It went on again. They do these things and they go on too effing long. I get it. She's cracked. She doesn't care. Her daughter married a gangster's son. Luthen Rail is going to kill her best friend because he's going to dime out the funding situation. Fine. It didn't need to be 12 minutes, dude, and the music's terrible. Anything that sounds like real music from like real world, I don't need in Star Wars. I'm on record as saying that. Trailers in the show, don't want it.
I mean, techno could go on any planet.
Don't want it. Cantina music only, please. And now we're struck forever. Yeah, that.
Yeah. So let's go to the wedding part. How much did you believe that they were going to fight when they got in that circle? Like there was going to be a knife fight or something because they came in, they had the knife.
Oh, the bride and groom?
Yeah, the bride and groom, and they step in the circle and they start going around.
The guy says to him straight out, he's like, "Take this knife and do what you will." I'm like, is he going to kill this chick? I thought it was going to be pokey, like right then and there. And then again, there's this is what I'm saying, dude. It's like they doubled down on doing the cultural stuff because they had no story to tell in this episode because the wedding dance went on for like 4 effing minutes.
Well, it was the cutting back and forth of everything going on. It was to show everybody. No, you got to have this stuff. Think of Daredevil when you had to go back and forth between Kingpin and Matt, and Matt's just standing on the street looking up.
That happened for 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Just saying.
This was 4 minutes long. 4 minutes. And then see, this is the thing. You can get away with it once in an episode, but they tried this shit like 3 times in this episode. They had that. They had the techno scene. They had the other bullshit up at the front of the episode with Andor in space before he gets the radio. Actually, no, that wasn't that bad. He had to figure out how to hotwire some shit. And
he's trying to boost his signal.
Right. That was cool. I'll take that. But see, that's him doing spy stuff, so I'm okay with that. Dude, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling, but like I said, I think I said it in between our segments. I've been told these are the 3 slowest episodes where you might have the most nits to pick, or you might find the most stuff you don't like. So I'm not out. I won't be out, but I need more of the rebellion and the spy stuff. And they have the opportunity because let's talk about the closing of the episode. Mon Mothma's sister, whose name I can't remember, the blonde woman.
Yeah.
Like the girlfriend character who she's separated from now. I think she's Indian in real life.
Yeah, they left her behind.
At the end of the episode, right? They had to leave her behind. That's right. She reappears at the end of the episode as Tay's stand-in valet / chauffeur.
Yeah.
and you read the writing on the wall. And then, of course, we see them drive away in the hover car into the mountains, and he looks skeptical about the route for some reason. Like, maybe this isn't the way, Josh usually drives. I don't know. Probably not getting where you got to go. So I thought that was at least a pretty slapping ending. But I hope that when we pick up next week, that there's not a big enough time jump that we don't see the immediate impact of however that resolves. That'd be a wasted opportunity for me.
Maybe we will see. We will see. Because where's Andor going to go with this TIE fighter now? And why is no one tracking this TIE fighter?
Oh, dude. Oh, listen, don't get me started on anything security related in this world. I thought the exact same shit. I'm like, prototype plane goes missing from a U.S. airbase. Well, what do you think happens? Exactly. I'm pretty sure they got that shit low jacked.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't bring it up in the ISB, but they never actually showed them in the ISB. They had them walking up,
team,
and he was telling her that you need to take this job. It may seem like a demotion, but you need to take this job. That was episode 2 before she went up, and we saw that her and Cyril were together. Yeah.
So I hope they bring that up again, because I think that the rebellion having advanced TIE equipment that we never see again, like why don't we ever see the TIE Avenger again? It's obviously dude. That ship would wreck an X-wing. Armaments alone, Gatling guns, fucking the Gauss
not including
and the rockets.
Any small ship like that can go to hyperspace and can strike anywhere at any time.
Dude,
it brings up a whole nother level of threat.
Dude, if the rebels thought ahead of time, they could have saved that one ship, right? Loaded it with 100 tons of fissile material and flown it into the Death Star.
Well,
they could have TLJ'd the whole thing. They could have hyperspeed missiled it.
Yeah, this is whole think that it's speculation here, because we know the X-wing and the Y-wing, the A-wing, and not the B-wing, but those three have hyperspace. They have hyperdrives on them.
We see them use it. Yeah.
What if they didn't know how to put it on a smaller ship until they stole this, and this gave them the technology so those ships could go put the smaller ships, which gave them an advantage, and why the Rebel Alliance was such a problem for them.
Because they're a guerrilla force, they need the mobility. The Empire always has the Star Destroyers that just literally deploy entire wings of TIE fighters when they arrive wherever they go.
And
that's good speculation.
The one thing that we did miss about the what is it? I call them Easy Company out there.
You know, them dead on that planet, they ain't living.
You know what that planet was?
I missed it.
Yavin 4.
Was it? They had the tunnels at the end, didn't
they? Yeah, it was Yavin 4.
Right? Yeah. Cool. That could work.
So that's gonna be the home of the first Rebel base. So
they do live. Oh, Jesus Christ, please.
Either they do live, or Andor's the reason why they're on Yavin 4, because he remembers it and like how heavily jungled it is and how it'll be hard to detect them.
I see that would work. Like that would work for me. Like when they're like, whenever, because that could be the wrap up of the show, really. It could be that, Mon's like, listen, we're expanding, but we need a physical base of operation for all these planes and all the logistics and all the other and training and all the crap we do. And he's like, I know just the place, cut the credits, that kind of thing. That could work too. But if there's a way we could put Easy Company, Cyril and his mom, and anybody else that annoys me from this show in place, and then literally just Death Star that planet, I'm down. Let's starting to stack up these people.
Let's take let's pretend we have a box. Let's put Cyril in there and his mom and the blue milk and this little rebel group, and we lock this box. And then we throw this box in the ocean so far down that Jacques freaking Cousteau can never find it.
I'm talking about like pour some cement in it first to make sure it goes all the way down, because they are obnoxious. We can put Green Space Pirate from Mando season 3 in there too. We can put Jack Black and Lizzo also in there. We put the mechanic in there. It's a big box now for Lizzo, but she's smaller now. We don't need as big of a box.
Yeah, she's
looking healthy.
What was that shot that everyone's doing now? The big craze in Hollywood. Ozempic. Yeah, she's addicted to that Ozempic, taking the place of that heroin needle.
Oh snap! We gotta call Wolf legal department now. All right, so let's
allegedly.
Yeah, see, we're good. All right, hit me with the number. We got 10. What's for episode 3?
I liked it. It's an 8.5.
Okay, you're trending back up because you came down a point. I think 3 was better than 2. Lots of points for the Brasso, lots of points for having the balls to do the attempted SA scene with Bix. We can't complain that Star Wars isn't gritty or dark enough, and then have that kind of power dynamic, terrible violence thing. When they go there, you have to either give them the credit for it or not.
Andor is Star Wars for adults.
Right. And I think that at this point, anybody that wants to tell me that I can't care about Star Wars because it's just for kids, I think that argument's gone. Like, you have to now. We got people losing limbs. We got SAs. We got torture and other scenes. Stop it. This is a grown-up show. It's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. You're not supposed to just gloss over it when it happens. I'll come back up from a 5. I'll still land at 7. I feel like especially I think the rave on Chandrila at the end it took me way out of the vibe for Star Wars. So not good enough for me on that. But hopefully this week when we get 3 more episodes, right? Because we get another block of 3.
Block of 3 on Tuesdays. Tuesdays night at 9.
So hopefully it just kind of throttles right up into something sick, because this is their middle block. Like, right? They gotta get moving here.
Oh no, so this is the so you have 4. So
that's right. Then we get 12. That's right.
Yeah.
My bad. This is group 2.
Chapter 2.
Cool. All right. And I think that will do it for us then. You heard the numbers. Go check out all 3 reviews because they're all done. See you guys.